Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the show. Yeah, I'm actually going to be doing this more as a request from Mr. Norin Rad, who did his own renditions of Contra and Super C. Did it without the codes. I feel like I could be more confident with Contra than I would be Super C without the code. I usually, even though I've beaten the game many a time, I usually still put the code in the code for the first Contra anyway, just as like a security blanket for myself, just so I know that I could just do it all in one run and not have to worry about continues. So with that being said, I'm gonna try it without using the code for Contra, but as you saw for yourself, and for everyone who also viewed the video of Norin's for Super C, it is a lot harder. Especially without having the extra live code. I always thought it was really cool. Also, I had both of those games growing up. Like yourself, I didn't know about Super C until I actually rented it from Blockbuster Video, and then I got it probably that following Christmas. But excuse me. I also had a subscription to Nintendo Power, and I always thought it was really cool that the code is almost like cut in half and backwards, and the only thing that was kind of disappointing to me was that it was only for 10 lives instead of 30, which still makes the game a challenge anyway, because it is a very challenging game due to the fact that there's a lot more enemies that are just attacking you everywhere, and there's pitfalls, and it's more strategic almost in a way. Not that it's a bad game, just because it's a more of a challenge doesn't mean that it's a terrible game. Like, bring on the challenge. It's still done very well. It can be a little chintzy and a little cheaty at times, especially with things that just drop out of the middle of nowhere, like without even knowing, unless you actually know the game very well, like knowing when to make a certain jump to activate something falling or anything along those lines. So with that being said, with a nice intro, also another side note, since I had the subscription to Nintendo Power, it actually in one of the issues said that there is a sound test for Super C, and I used to literally just load up the cartridge just so I was able to listen to the music. And if that game came out in 1990, then it means I was 9 years old, and I was blasting those songs out of my television at the time. And then, finally, after the age of the internet and being able to have NSFs and all those Winamp plugins and everything else in between that's out now, it was such a sigh of relief to not have to, blow through the cartridges and wiggle them in the consoles and get them all ready to go, and being able to just have those sound tests right there at my fingertips, it just made it so much easier and such a relief. You may not have seen my stream in some time, so let me explain a lot of the things. In the upper left corner, you're going to see a bunch of different title cards, if you want to call them that. Like, there's Super C right there. That is every game that I have played, as far as, since we're going to play Nintendo, this is my Nintendo setup. Every game that I have played on my stream and have completed start to finish is up in that corner, and I like to call those the Wall of Fame. I have one for Nintendo, I have one for Genesis, I have one for Game Boy, etc, etc, etc. So as of right now, this is my Nintendo setup that you see. So those are all the NES games that I have beaten on my stream and done it live. Fuck it, we're gonna do it live. And of course, just the URLs for my YouTube channel and for the Facebook, and then a bunch of other fun things that I have fallen upon that I thought I should add to this screen here to make it all fancy. Like how you have that building / skyline from Mega Man 2, Mr. Norin, who I am speaking to right now. Just to jazz it up a little bit and make it a lot more fun on the eye, rather than just seeing dark screen or just the game. And then, of course, my silly mug on the bottom left here. And so, yeah, I think that's a good enough intro. And let's go ahead and just get this all started. Actually, I do have the emulator already open. And another note, instead of playing Contra, I'm actually more prone to playing the Japanese version, Grisor. And I actually do have a translated ROM here. And the reason being that I like to play the Japanese version is that it actually gives you almost like cutscenes in between stages, and it gives a lot more story to the background of the game, and almost like a segue for every stage. So you kind of get like more of an atmosphere, more of a feel as to what's going on behind the scenes. So let's go ahead and load that up. And even though this is Grisor, whoever actually went and, toiled around with this ROM actually redid the title card there and made it say Contra instead of Grisor. Master of the fighting spirit and guerrilla tactics. Contra also is the Spanish word meaning against. And of course you still get the same demo play of both Lance and Bill. And let's just go ahead and see if we can beat it with only the 3 lives that we start with. And here we go. Now it's starting to feel like the intro to Predator. A date 2631. The story begins when New Zealand reports that a meteor crashed into the nearby ocean. And see, it's cool to find out that it's New Zealand, because I always picture it like Predator, like how I said, and being South America. Like, starting off in the Amazon jungle, like, sort of like that thing, is how I always felt about it, so it's cool to know that it's actually New Zealand. 2 years later, Red Falcon begins the destruction of humanity. And there we have Dutch Schaefer and John Rambo. Oh, wait. 2 of Earth's Marines, Bill and Lance, also known as Dutch Schaefer and John Rambo, become the Contra. I like how it's the Contra. Their mission, stop the world's destruction, period. And I like how you actually hear more typing, because more than likely it's for actually writing out the kanji rather than having the whatever you want to consider that, the English alphabet or whatever the actual scripture would be considered. Trying to think and actually play this, you know how hard it is trying to do it live and brainstorm and all that other fun stuff in between. Okay, let me go ahead and see myself playing it. Okay. How you kind of do, as you call the claw, and you do it like this, I kind of have more of a, like, I'll use this almost as a vice grip for my left hand, and I just kind of use more of my left arm to actually go and do the rapid. Like, keep a steady thumb in your right hand, but do more with the left. Like, and obviously this is probably coming from me being with the drummer background and doing all the blast beats with the left hand, so it's kind of like the same thing where you're doing the blast with the left hand while you kind of just like have a nice control with the right hand and just use like the pad of your thumb, or almost like where the joint is actually, and just kind of just teeter-totter almost in a way, or seesaw, whatever you want to consider it. But yeah, that's my story on my technique as to how I go about doing my rapids. But I also notice, even from watching your Silver Surfer video from a long time ago, which again, still, you're the only person I know that can beat Silver Surfer, Mr. Rad. I also noticed that you always just like to just go balls to the wall, just constant shooting, or as I like to call it, KETM, kill everything that moves. And it's just a constant spray. I will say that a lot of times I will like to kind of downplay it and not try to shoot every millisecond that's going on. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because obviously that's more like a better safe than sorry kind of thing for your own technique. But again, you wanted to see my techniques, compare it to yours and to everyone else's in between, so that's what this video is for. So let's go ahead and enjoy ourselves. And here we go. And again, like I stated, I always thought that this was more like South America, being in the Amazon jungle. And lo and behold, we find from playing Grisor that it's actually in New Zealand. So it's more like Lord of the Rings, rather than Predator. And a lot of times, like, I usually don't give a crap about being on the bridge and just end up in the water, but I figure I'd Ah, crap, I'm not even really paying attention. But also, if you notice, the trees actually move in the Japanese version. And there's the flame. Some people just call it fire. I like to call it flame, like the flamethrower. I mean, it's a better gun rather than the pea shooter, but I'll even show you with the rapid. Like, it's not really a steady stream. And it's also one of the other things that I also noticed about the spread gun is if you are a button masher like yourself, Mr. Rad, there is a lot of times where you don't even get the 5 bullets coming out of the gun, period. Like maybe you only get 1 or 2, or ah crap, what the hell was that? Where you only get maybe 1 or 2, if not 3 of the actual bullets coming out of the gun itself from doing the rapid fire. And that's the path that I usually take, especially to dodge that laser, which is a gun I never use, depending whether it's Contra or Super C. I am not a fan of the laser, especially because, like, I was a nice segue into button mashing. Due to the fact that if you try to button mash with the laser, you just get this little tiny thing that just comes out and barely even leaves your gun. Okay. See, look, I'll hold down the rapid, and there you go. There's prime example right there of exactly what I'm talking about. And I got an extra life, so that's cool. It would have been nice to have an extra life rather than resetting my, you know, body count, we'll call it. Arrived at point A, beginning the infiltration. And again, that's totally Dutch Schaefer. And even just seeing this part here is actually really cool. Like, you can actually see the whole game as is laid out. It's really neat. Like, you can see the waterfall there, you can see the frozen fields, all the other good stuff in between. I think I'm actually going to sit this one a little bit just so I can get this rapid. And of course I miss them. And again, this is not scripted, I'm doing this live! And like I was even saying in the comment to you yesterday, a lot of times it's actually beneficial to keep all of the mistakes and everything else in between to kind of... Did I miss him again? Holy crap. It kind of gives it more entertainment value to the videos when you keep all of the mistakes and the mishaps rather than trying to make it look picture perfect. Whoops. And see, like right there, I know that you would keep on shooting, but I'm just saying, screw it, let's just walk on over. I know there's a guy with a gun here eventually. I don't know which gun it is. I kind of feel like it's a machine gun, though. Like, here he comes. No, it's another F. So, that's kind of a waste of time. There's actually a cool trick here for the bases that you can do if you're playing with a friend, but playing as one player. If you duck down and hold the up button, you know, on the D-pad on player 2, you actually can crouch down, but your bullets will travel up. So it's almost like if you were shooting straight ahead, but you're actually ducking down. So, you know, just a nice tidbit for you. Like, that would be cool for, like, if you knew that in our youth, if you had a younger brother, like if you were playing the older brother role and your younger brother wanted to play but you didn't want him to screw you up, you can just be like, hey, just hold down the up button, you can really help me out. And then it makes them feel better because they feel like that they're actually helping. Where, in a way, they are, and they are partaking in the activity with you. But... And this is also something else that I always do, is after I beat that boss and the one in the other bases, I always just run all the way to the left, just so it cuts down on time. Garamaki Roma. Destroyed. Now approaching point B. It's kind of interesting how they actually wrote that out in English lettering rather than translating its name itself. I wish I knew what it meant. And here we are at the waterfall. It would be nice to have a better gun. Asking you shall receive. Nope, it's the F. What the F with the F? Now, and of course the laser. Alright, cool. At least I was able to get that guy. I don't know how I dodged that. And I believe it's the bionic suit and a rapid. And I got myself a free life there. Free life or 1-up or life insurance, whatever you want to call them. Free man. And there's our trusty spread gun. Oh, you son of a bitch. I'm really not even paying attention. Either that or I'm just being distracted by all of the moving sprites. I know that's a machine gun. And that'll be fine. Just so we can be lazy and just hold down the button. Also, I'm trying to really refrain myself from actually using the rapid fire part of this controller. How I have it set up is these are the standards and these are the rapid fires. And I mean, if you want to play Contra using the rapid fire, by all means, have at it. Again, look, here I go with my Northern Rat impression, just constant bullets everywhere. It's just easier with the machine gun. Like I said, I'm just being lazy. And like I said, a lot of times I like to use the jump technique. But it's also been a while since I played this game, and I kind of feel like that if I jump, I might actually run into one of those fireballs. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about with the jump technique, as you may have heard, you actually can get out more bullets since it's a less distance. And so you kind of like speed up the process. Arrived at point B, beginning the infiltration. Alright, so it's the same as the other time, where instead of point A, it's point B now. Base number 2. Again, I do love this map layout. I really do. It adds a lot more character to the game. Not that the game didn't have character in the first place, but you know what I'm getting at. I forget if there's a gun guy here or not. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with the machine gun, but I guess there wasn't one on that one, unless I had to wait a little bit longer. And by a little bit, I mean a lot more. I would say as far as button mashing goes, yeah, the machine gun's always good to have, but I think it works best here on the base stages. Because as you know, trying to button mash with the other ones without having the rapid fire adjustment on it, it really does make it a lot harder to be able to get all of those out of there with the patterns like broken up. Every once in a while I wonder if I should just start attacking the other things as well, just so I can get the points for them, since I'm not using the 30 guy code. But so far so good. I'm actually impressed with myself. And speak of the devil, there's another one up there. Ooh. Alright. An even faster machine gun. I'm okay with that. Again, I don't know if I've ever actually not put in the 30 guy code for Contra. Like I said, I know I can beat the game. But again, it's Maybe it's part security blanket, maybe it's part nostalgia, but you know, it's just fun putting in that 30 guy code, and it's also cool to find out what other games from Konami actually use it as well. Like, I know Life Force is one of them, and that's definitely a game where you're going to need that code, because that is a hard game. Or if you want to play the Japanese version, it's Salamander, and I miss the guy. I don't know what my problem is with missing these guys here in these base stages. Alright, and this boss here actually is more of a pain in the butt because of the little men that run out on the sides, these guys. And there's exactly my point. Although these guys are more of a pain in the ass. And Contra loves to have bubbles in its game. If you even remember from Super C, it loves having killer bubbles. And bubbles in general is just an enemy I never understood why Nintendo in general just has killer bubbles in them. I'm sure you can think of many other games that utilize bubbles as enemies. And I think this is the most amount of times I've ever said bubbles in a paragraph ever in my life. Whoa. And again, I'm cheating, I'm using my rapid fire controller just because I have the pea shooter and yeah. Let's go the other way, let's be different. I want to use the other one. Alright, I actually almost forgot I had this. You have your Diet Root Broody, and I'm full of Chinese food, and I happened to see this Sunkist can there, and I thought I would be a little different. Got a manga destroyed, leaving for base at point C. And cheers. So here I am playing Contra, full of Chinese food. Excuse me, went down the wrong pipe. Full of Chinese food, and I have been listening to Mr. Bungle like crazy for the past 2 days. And again, here we go with more animation on the sprites. Adds a lot more character. You can see the trees in the bottom half, and obviously the trees here on the foreground. And there is a part somewhere in the snowfield. I remember my cousin Lori showing me when I was a kid. There's almost like an invisible... I don't know why I didn't jump there. There's almost like an invisible platform somewhere in this stage. And I remember her showing me it before, but I can't remember where the heck it is. Where literally, like down in these areas where they have the trees on the bottom, there's like an invisible platform on one of the places. And it's just there for shits and gigs. Like, you literally think that you're just going to fall all the way down, and you just stay right there. And again, I haven't played these games in quite some time, so again, I'm still impressed with how well I am doing with only standard 3 guys. Ah, crap. Missed that jump. You turd. Well, at least I had a 1-up to use. And also, this game probably, all because of this part coming up right here with this tank, is probably how I got the best practice ever for my button mashing. And again... and that's how I go about doing mine. Is it's more left-handed rather than right. Again, I'll bring the controller up for you here. And that's how I go about doing mine. But also, what else is neat is you actually see the snow falling here, unlike in the US release. So again, it's little things like that that make me enjoy the Japanese version a lot more. Crap. Using the pea shooter on the boss. Let's see how well we do. I feel like I'm going to be using my first continue in the next stage. And again, utilizing the jump. Crap. Alright, using our first continue. Well, that's depleting. Are you serious? I don't know how the hell I dodged him twice. Maybe the snow is actually a little bit more distracting with this version. It makes it like a wee bit harder to notice any bullets that are coming out, even though they are a different color. Are you fucking kidding me? I barely got the spread gun in this game in general, and then I finally get it and I get freaking touched by one of those dudes. It should be interesting with this. And I knew I was going to die, so I had to switch over to the rapid fire. That goes to show you just how bad the fire or flamethrower gun is. Yeah, it really is a nuisance with this gun because you have to wait for like all the bullets to leave the screen in order to be able to start shooting again. At this point, almost the laser's even welcoming. Ah, crap. There you go. Ah, God. Arriving at point C. Further communication will be impossible. We'll destroy the base's energy core. Which will make sense as to why this is called the energy zone. And again, that's cool how they have like that drop effect in there. I would like some free guys, and a spreader, but I get machine gun. And again, that's something I like to do every once in a while. Is I'll sing a ditty along with the tune kind of like take your mind off things. And this is when the diarrhea dial gets cranked, dealing with all these freaking flames. And now it's definitely KETM mode, where we're going to need some one-ups, so we are going to kill everything that moves. And I know there's like the bionic suit or bomb blast suit or whatever it's called or considered. Crap. No, that one doesn't go off until that. Thank you! And you never know when this thing's going to be running out, so just go ahead and just keep shooting everything anyway. And see, like, how that bullet there looked just like one of the snowflakes. So, getting back to like how I was saying, it's cool seeing a lot of the sprites being animated in this game, but it can really confuse your eye if you're really not paying too close of attention, or even if you are paying attention, it can just still be a pain in the butt. Oh crap! I don't know how the hell I survived that one. Will you blow up already? Thank you! Woo! Don't worry, I'm not pissed. We're just passionate here in Philly. The base is sabotaged. Moving to the next point. I have to move faster. So if we destroyed the energy's core, was that giant robot actually, like, the core itself? Or, like, the main energy source? Ugh, excuse me. No, F you to the F. But also, even getting guns that we already have is also welcoming as well, because it will give you more points to tally as far as getting your one-ups in this game. So that was one thing that I did notice, Norin, with your video, was even though you had a spread gun or whatever other gun it was that you were using at the time, when you blew up the, whatever you want to call it, the carrier, the cargo that has all of the guns for you, you never collected the same gun twice. You son of a bitch. But again, it's not gonna hurt you. It's actually quite nice, because again, you will get the points for it, and it will add to your extra lives. Ah, oh, that would have been great if it friggin' dropped right up there. Do I dare do it? Yeah. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna be a wiener. Again, because if I'm gonna continue, I'd rather continue at the alien's lair. But you may also notice that in this version there is a lot more enemies. So it feels more like Super C with the amount of enemies that there is. Like, I believe in the US version there is not 2 of those freaking bazooka blasters there. Alright, let's do it. With the pea shooter! And we got the 1-up too, so that's good. Alright, good. So, we didn't use all of our continues, and we are at the alien's lair, so I'm happy about that. Again, like, I just feel like totally different because of being depleted from the snow zone. This must be the base. Now exposing the enemy, which is a giant heart. Aye. And as you see, the sprites move in this one as well. And again, the machine gun is welcomed here. And I remember reading in the instruction manual / possibly even Nintendo Power that it talks about that this is actually the liver of the alien. I don't know how the hell that freaking faux facehugger didn't actually touch me. Now, is that actually supposed to be the liver, or is that just them having shits and gigs with their own words? I have no idea. Hey, look what we finally have. A spreader and a one-up. Alrighty. Get that thing out of here. Get out of here, fuzzball. And see, there's with the rapid, and like I was saying, a lot of times if you do it too fast... Let me pause it there. If you do button mash a little too fast for the spreader, you will only have, like as you see there, there's only 2 rows as opposed to 5. So, again, there's a lot of beneficiaries to things, and there is a lot of handicaps with them as well. So take them as is, and see what suits you best. And that's why a lot of times, like, I'll just actually just gently tap it. And why didn't you friggin' jump? I hit the jump button. It's like everything that can go wrong is going wrong in this stream. And I don't know if those, are, again, are supposed to be faux face huggers or if they're just scorpions or whatever, but either way. I am a fan of the Alien franchise, so it is fun to me to actually see, like, the face huggers and, the xenomorphs and things like that, especially in Super C. Not so much in this one, but definitely in Super C. And there we go. Whee! I wanted to be quiet there because that's no, that ditty. And so is this scene. Again, this is more reason why I always felt like that this was more like Predator and being in South America. And I like how it does that fade to black and white like that as well. That's really cool. Ah, gosh. And I believe all this is still the same from the NES one. It's still the same song here, and I believe it's the same layout as far as the credits go. But yeah, we only use 1 continue, and using the 3 lives, so... Again, like, I shouldn't be upset, but I still am, like, I went from being really, really energized and hype to just being, like, having the wind taken out of my sails, all because of having to use that continue in the snowfield. And there's your Meizawa and Sada. Ay, 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 ay. And again, it's just like with the other one. Oh, look, rest 3. So it's just like we start the game all over again anyway. Okay, so that is a translated version of Grisor. So let me actually go ahead and reset that, just so you can see that. It's more reminiscent to the actual US version. And then let me go ahead and open the Japanese one that is untranslated, so you can see the actual title screen. Where are you? There you are. And there it is. And again, I love that fire effect. And there it is. All in her majesty. Untouched and unabused. So yes, it is definitely one that had to be translated, because as you see, it shows all of the Japanese scripture as opposed to the English. And so that was Grisor front to back, and you got to see the title screen. And I'm going to move on to Super C as soon as I stop getting text messages. Alright, again, this one's a lot harder, and I probably haven't played Super C in like 6 months, so I might actually go against the grain and go ahead and use the code for it. You can boo me and hiss at me and throw rocks and all that good stuff. Alright. And the cool thing, instead of up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start, it's right, left, down, up, A, B, start. So it's like backwards and hyphenated. And if we did it right, there it is, 10 lives, cool. So again, it's more security blanket to, because this game is a hell of a lot harder. I might even have to use all of the continues in this game in general, because, again, I haven't played it in like 6 months. And you saw what happened to me from that one highlighted video where the floor killed me for some apparent reason and no apparent reason at the same time. And again, doing it live. Okay. So, here we go. What? Okay. Yeah, so that's a good sign. The fact that, you know, if I didn't have the Tengai code, I'd be freaking down a life anyway already on the first stage. But one thing that I noticed is you never really, on the inclines like this, you never actually hit the duck button. But I always thought that was a really cool sprite, the fact that you kneel on one knee. And I know how much you hate the machine gun, so I'm sure you're probably so irked right now watching this. But I will say that the F in this game is so much better than the original. Sometimes I even prefer it more than the spreader gun, for the fact that when it does land on a target, it does exactly that. It spreads. And speak of the devil, there it is. But in stage 8, when the ceiling comes down and you have all of those orbs that come after you, having the flamethrower gun there actually is very beneficial, because again, when you have that ceiling dropped on you, you can just keep hitting that ceiling and it's spreading out. But also, I love the soundtrack in this one, especially those orchestral hits that you hear every once in a while, especially in this song. Alright, and here we come up on the boss. And again, I cheated a little bit by holding down the rapid, and again, I wasn't sure if those guns actually were going to shoot or not for me to do the jump mechanism or technique, but definitely for using that orb, it's again, it's very beneficial. But definitely on these types of stages, the overhead views, it's definitely one to absolutely do the kill everything that moves. Alright, so now I'm back to my 10 lives since we got the 1-up. Maybe that's something I should actually do, is keep a note of how many guys I end up actually using in this game. And again, that was cheap, this friggin' butthole coming back here. Screw you guys. But yeah, this stage absolutely, it has its predictions as to where things are going to be, but it's still very unpredictable. Come on, give me something nice, give me something nice. Alright, I'll take the spreader. Also, in my youth, I used to always like to do stuff like this, like hide behind the wall, so you were able to keep your gun and keep your lives and be able to get rid of the enemies as well. Again, everyone did weird things and different things to their gameplay. But definitely, like in this part here, I would always tap it a little bit slower like that, just so the actual spread gun actually did do the spread. Because again, like I was saying and how I showed you, if you do it too fast, it's, you know, it doesn't do what you want it to do. It doesn't do the job properly. And again, I'm just casually doing it. Alright, let's go fast. There you go. Went from casual gaming to hardcore gaming. Me and my Sunkissed, which I actually haven't had in a while, but like I said, I did go for Chinese earlier, and I was just looking at the drinks that they had there, even though I had drinkage at the house, and I was just like, you know what, there's an orange there, and I haven't had orange soda in a while, so let's go for it. It would have been funny if they had Diet Rude Broody, so it'd be really paying homage to you. And again, now I'm starting to do more like Norrin Rad style, where I'm just going to be spraying everywhere. But this is definitely like a kind of stage where you can absolutely get more lives. Just shoot the bullets just so we play it safe. But since there's so many enemies, you can absolutely rack up the points to get your free lives. And, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Whew, I do not know how the hell I dodged that one. But I always thought it was cool how, even though the level is actually lower since you are in the water, I actually like how it feels like you're actually trying to, like all that tension of being in the water and trying to jump out of it, like how you only jump out a smidge. I always felt like that was a really cool touch, and I always thought it was funny how if the enemies are pretty close to you and you're not able to turn around fast enough, you can just duck and they walk right over you without any harm done. Again, it's little things like that in the game that that makes it more enjoyable and more fun. And whether you want to call them, like how you said, your pro tips, that's definitely one of them as well, where if you're not quick enough to snipe people from behind you and they're right there, just go ahead and duck and let them walk over you and it's totally fine. And then you could be a coward and shoot them in the back. And here comes our favorite, the spider boss. Let's just rapid fire. Alright. And I always like to do this too, is duck underneath it and jump. You actually can walk underneath it while it is still active and it won't hurt you, but I'm not going to recommend it. Alright, and this is the part where, if you remember in the video, it killed me for every apparent reason and no apparent reason at all. Because I made the jump right on the edge, and it just wanted to screw with me and take a life, and that was that. I can't remember exactly what point it was, but I know it was pretty darn close into it. I think it was actually that jump there. I used to play this game so often in my youth that I actually... At that part there, I knew where every drop was, and I was able to just casually walk right across it, no problem. And again, like I said, this was definitely the game that got me my street cred in my youth. And there you go. And that's how you do that! And again, I was like walking over to the right there, so it just looks like you just disappear like a magic act. And here we go with Area 4, the attack of the killer bubbles again. And see, there it is with the rapid fire, and it makes it look like I'm actually using the machine gun, where I'm actually not. And there it is. And there's your machine gun. And again, instead of trying to like sit there and try to pick out every single one of them, just stand from far away and just do the jump as you saw me do. And if you really want to try to be a maniac, go ahead and sit there and stand underneath it and see what you can do. I don't know if this is something that's actually more well known, and I'm not trying to like, you know, belittle anybody or like when it comes to this part, but I actually noticed the ceiling here that caves in does not cave in on any kind of timing. What it is it doesn't drop until you actually shoot it. Say, like, you would think like, oh, everything's fine, but boop, and then there you go. For the longest time, I always thought that it was more like a timed thing, like it would just drop after like after the screen finally loaded all the way. Or if it was only like only a few seconds into it or something nuts like that. But then I actually ended up realizing that it doesn't fall until you actually shoot it. Again, there's one of your pro tips for you. And as I'm saying this, like, my room still smells like sweet and sour chicken, and I love it. Full of Chinese food and Mr. Bungle. I like it. And now I'm playing some Contra, and I'm really happy. Again, let's rapid fire. Like, you would think that this is a game where rapid fire would be beneficial, but as you see with certain guns, it doesn't actually pull out all the ammunition at the right time or the right amount when you want it to. So rapid fire is not always the best bet. Even if you can button mash like a maniac, such as yourself. Alright. Like, especially at this part here, you want to kind of like get in the middle just so it spreads out nicey nice. Like when it came to those guns there from earlier, as far as these guys, yeah, they're totally on the other opposite ends. There you go. A laser and a spread. Okay. Area 4, bubble stage. Whoa! I lucked out on that one. Was not expecting Mr. Birdman to sit there and jump right next to me and try to have a conversation and a cup of coffee. Alright, and here we go. Best chandelier ever. And again, we're going to cheat here, just to kind of move it along a little bit. Ah, son of a bitch! It's pea shooter time. Alright, that's what I was waiting for. Alright, so we lost our spread. But, again, trying to keep in mind as to how many lives we have. Even if I didn't put in the code, I think we'd be doing alright. Because we still have 10 lives, even though we lost that one. And I had 2 extra lives come in. So we'd still be okay. But again, putting in the code, it kind of like takes that, like that edge off of your shoulders. And that it makes it a little bit more relaxing for you as far as this game goes. Especially when it comes to this stage. And again, I do like the flamethrower in this one. Alright, game, what are you doing to me? I'm already bald. And I'm already gray, so... or I should say I'm gray-esque. What gun was that? Whatever it was gone. And I think actually it was a spread gun. Are you kidding me? And again, there's another one-up. Alright, so... unless a gun comes out, it's pea shooter time again. But this is definitely a stage where you kind of want to jump in order to, like that boulder there. You kind of want to trigger them from happening before you actually get there. Actually, like how we're in Area 5 and that has a 5 there. Now it says 6. Now 5 again. Five and 6. Alright, and here comes our fun spaceship with the pea shooter. Oh crap. And I touched the freaking glowing orb. I believe you actually died at that point too, on accident. And even you were like, oh, you can die from that. Alright, there we go. Another cool thing with this game is the bosses are like some of the most metal looking things ever. Like, being that it's very reminiscent of Aliens, or just say Alien franchise, and a lot of the bosses could be from like 80s metal, you know, cover arts and things like that, the album arts. Like a lot of these things, like if you just stick Eddie in there somewhere or whatever, like it would totally just look natural. Like, oh yeah, this is totally Iron Maiden. Get the hell out of here. All these friggin' vaginal incisors. I do not remember this, like, actually... I remember this stage being hard, but I don't remember those things, like, coming around me so quickly and having all these shooting spiders and everything else in between. Ah, crap, I have a laser. Again. This is with the rapid fire. Where's your laser? You can hear him pulling the trigger. That's how close I had to be. I had to be on the actual wall in order to shoot it. Alright, looks like we're doing laser time. Alright, and as far as this part, there is a safe haven to be at, so the snake doesn't touch you and you can keep shooting the face. It's somewhere in this area. And again, it sucks that I have the laser, so I kind of welcome having a... Good, thank you. again. But that's where you want to be. So the snake goes all the way around you, it doesn't harm you, and you can just keep shooting the bullets and everything's good to go. Alright, so that stage I believe we had the most deaths on, so we are down to 8. Alright. And here we go. And which should also be known as Alien's Lair, because this is basically the face huggers and everything else in between. Possibly... Nah, I think the Xenomorphs are in the next stage. Come on, game. Work with me here. And for whatever reason, instead of standing upright, I always do like the kneel for these monsters here. Alrighty. Again, I don't remember this many like enemies coming out and all. The laser. And then more guns come out. Alright, I'll take it. And here comes the eggs and the facehuggers. Actually, I didn't want to fall down here, but okay. That's always a fun technique as well, is using the ceiling to your advantage. Alright, back to the pea shooter. Now I'm just not giving a shit. Alright. And again, super heavy metal. This stage. And I guess it's safe to say that there's always at least one stage in Contra that's going to just take the wind out of your sails and just deplete you. But again, I'm surprised I didn't use any of the continues yet. Yet being the key word. Get away. What the hell's going on? Game, you're killing me. Literally and figuratively. Yeah. Alright. Alright, last stage. All over again. I don't know what the hell happened there. It just kind of, like, engulfed me. Go away, thank you. I want to keep the flamethrower for this stage so I could show you what I was talking about with the ceiling. And never mind, I have to spread. No, I don't want the laser. It's also kind of funny how hard this stage is, but how easy the boss is. It's almost like a letdown. Like, I did all that hard work for this? Alright, there we go. And now here comes the ceiling part that I was talking about. Okay. And there you go. Come on down. Gone. I mean, the spreader's totally fine as well. But, just showing you more options that you can do. And there you go. I think you can do things like that, too. And this part's a pain in the ass. I do not remember this many enemies actually running out. It's almost, like, unbearable. Maybe it was always like that and I just don't remember because I haven't played in a while. Whew, I lucked out there. Not there. Thank you. And this is why I don't speedrun anything ever. Because like I mentioned earlier, anything that can go wrong has gone wrong. But here comes the last boss. More HP, no, HR Giger, not HP. HP is Lovecraft. But usually I believe I stay at the bottom and just shoot on the corner and you'll be alright. Like, I believe you went up on the platform above, like right where the lady's face is. Ah, I almost made it to the top. If you can make it to the top of the head there, and if you jump, I believe there's almost like an invisible level for you to be there. And like where the head top would be, actually, it would just be standing in thin air. But yeah, there's Super Saiyan only 1 continue. The game, if you haven't played it in a while, can absolutely take the fun out of your day. But hey, again, there's me beating both of them on the stream again. Although this isn't live, I'm doing this actually offline. I was wondering if I should do it live, but I figured if I did it live, it might have more interruptions of people talking, you know, while I'm playing. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, it's always good to be joining in the conversation, but I just feel like I would not be part of the conversation because I'd be too, like, into actually getting the game completed. And there you go. Gotcha. So yeah, that's me playing both of them. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you found something more interesting to be able to do, or maybe I you know, brought up something that you may have forgotten. But yeah, that's how I go about playing these games, and that's me being a goofball to them. And you can gradually see me getting from excited to just peeved. We'll say peeved. I'm not angry. I'm just like a little worn out from it. But yeah, here's both of them, and I hope you enjoyed it. And go ahead and check out any other videos. I do like to stream these live, as I did mention, so if you have Twitch, go ahead and subscribe, and if you don't, that's fine too. You don't have to just subscribe to Twitch in order to watch them. You can watch them anonymously. and I'll put the link up as to where to go about seeing these and to seeing them be done live and everything else in between. And as always, thanks for watching, and until next time.